Good evening and a warm welcome to all the dignitaries. General Manoj Pande, former Chief of Army Staff of the Indian Army and our keynote speaker for today's function, Honorable Shri Justice Anil Pansare, Judge, Nagpur Bench of Bombay High Court and the chief guest for today's lecture, Honorable Judges of Nagpur Bench of Bombay High Court, Mrs. Archana Pande, Advocate Atul Pande, President of the High Court Bar Association, Advocate Amol Jaltare, Secretary of the Bar, Senior Advocate Mr. Firdos Mirza and Advocate Makarand Agniotri, the conveners of Study Circle, Colonel Vinod Bajpai, learned members of the Bar and esteemed guests. The High Court Bar Association has always believed in nurturing the holistic growth of its members. Our study circle is not confined to legal discussions alone, but it extends to exploring various facets of life that contribute to the personal as well as professional growth of each individual advocate. It is with a sense of honor and privilege that, on behalf of late Shri Vinod Bobde, Senior Advocate Memorial, High Court Bar Association Study Circle, I, Advocate Palak Agrawal, welcome you all to one such lecture on Leadership Imperatives and Lessons from Indian Army. I request Advocate Amol Jaltare, Secretary of HCBA, to welcome General Manoj Pande with a sapling. Thank you, sir. I request Senior Advocate Mr. Firdos Mirza, the convener of the study circle, to welcome Honorable Shri Justice A.L. Pansare with a sapling. Thank you, sir. I now request Advocate Priyanka Albert to welcome Mrs. Archana Pande with a shawl and sapling. Thank you, ma'am. I now request Advocate Vishwajit Singh Oberoi, Library in charge of HCBA, to welcome Colonel Vinod Bajpai with a sapling. I now request Advocate Prithviraj Chauhan, Joint Secretary of HCBA, to welcome Lieutenant Colonel Mishra with a sapling. Thank you, sir. Leadership is not just about guiding others. It is about inspiring, empowering, and creating an environment where everyone can thrive. As advocates, leadership plays a pivotal role in navigating challenges, building trust, and driving impactful outcomes. Beyond the courtroom, whether in our relationships, communities, or social engagements, the ability to inspire, guide, and create positive impact shapes our world. The Indian Army is an institution that has honed leaders under the most challenging circumstances, where quick thinking, courage, and collaboration are critical. The Indian Army's legacy of discipline, resilience, honor, and adaptability offers profound lessons for leaders across all fields. Today, we have the rare opportunity to hear from an esteemed leader whose dedication and service to our nation has set an unparalleled example of excellence. It is with immense pleasure I introduce our keynote speaker for today's lecture, General Manoj Pande. General Pande served as the 29th Chief of Army Staff of Indian Army from 30th April 2022 to 30th June 2024. During his eventful and illustrious military career of over 42 years, he held a number of key appointments both in India and abroad. For his distinguished and dedicated services, he was awarded the Param Vishisht Seva Medal, Ati Vishisht Seva Medal, and Vishisht Seva Medal by the President of India. General Pande holds a master's degree in defense studies and an MPhil degree in defense and management studies. He is an alumni of the Staff College Camberley, the High Command Course Maho, and the National Defense College, New Delhi. During his tenure as the Chief of Army Staff of the Indian Army, Shri Pande articulated a vision that aimed at enhancing the responsiveness and operational readiness of the force and ensured its realization through a comprehensive strategy and associated plans. He laid out a time-bound transformation roadmap for the Indian Army for it to transition into a modern, agile, adaptive, and technology-enabled future-ready force. Under his visionary leadership, the Indian Army witnessed a number of initiatives for enhancing its efficiency in operational, administrative, and functional domains. He took remarkable steps towards realizing the vision of achieving Atmanirbharta in meeting defense sector needs. He also ensured a value-based organizational culture that emphasized integrity, loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, courage, and honor. Post-retirement, General Pande chooses to devote his time to think tanks, corporate houses, and academic institutions while motivating several young minds. Today, we also have the honor of having Mrs. Archana Pande with us. Mrs. Pande is a dental surgeon, and upon joining the Army fraternity, she has taken active part in different facets of social and organizational activities related to the well-being and empowerment of Army families by improving their vocational training and healthcare system. She has taught in Army schools and volunteered to work for special children and cancer patients at various military stations. She was closely associated with the Project Ahvan and the Women Empowerment Center for Veer Naris and Widows at Delhi. As President of Army Wives Welfare Association from 30th April 2022 till 30th June 2024, Mrs. Pande focused her efforts on issues of women empowerment. Interestingly, both General Pande and Mrs. Pande have their roots from Nagpur. I now request our keynote speaker, General Manoj Pande sir, to address the gathering.
Honorable Justice Pansare, Honorable Judges of the High Court present here, Advocates Atul Pande, the President, Firdos Mirza, the Convener, and Advocate Amol Jaltare, Secretary of the Bar Association. Members of the Bar Association, distinguished senior counsels, budding lawyers, students of law, ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening, good afternoon to you. It is an honor for me to be amongst you all this afternoon to speak as part of the late Shri Vinod Bobde Memorial Study Circle, and I wish to thank the HCBA for providing me this opportunity. The Nagpur High Court has a rich and illustrious history, and as I just saw the court building, it stands as an important landmark and a heritage structure in Nagpur, symbolizing the city's historical significance. Many members of the bar here have risen or have been elevated as judges of the Supreme Court and other prominent judicial and administrative appointments. Among them, Justice Sir Vivian Bose, Justice Mudholkar, Justice A.P. Sen, former CJI Justice Sharad Bobde, Justice Sirpurkar, and now Justice Bhushan Gawai. In fact, as you mentioned, I did my initial years of my schooling here, and each time when you passed this magnificent High Court building, you always felt envious. And as young children, I remember we were very curious to know as to what is it inside. And, it was always remained an enigma in our mind. So I'm very fortunate and glad that I've finally got an opportunity to visit the High Court premises and interact with you all. As was briefly mentioned, my association with Nagpur goes long back. Not only was I born here, but I did my primary education in the city. My parents, my two brothers, my wife, and the extended family, my in-laws and parents belong to this wonderful city. In the last 40-50 years, I must say, the city has witnessed many changes. You have new infrastructure projects like the Mihan, the metro, you have new educational institutes such as the IIM, the AIMS, and the rest. Even the citizens here now I see are getting much better facilities, opportunities, in fact, world-class facilities, opportunities, amenities in every field. But despite all this, what I must mention here, something which has not changed is the people of Nagpur, and I must spend some time. And when I say people of Nagpur, I am referring to their identity and their character. I think the uniqueness of the people here in the city has been their very uncomplicated nature, a sense of belonging, a genuine warmth, the importance that they pay or give to human relationships, and the aspect of remaining firmly connected to the ground. Now, these are some of the qualities or values which I also tried to imbibe in my military career. I think to be one's own self, remaining genuine without any pretensions, valuing and nurturing relationships, and remaining firmly grounded is something which greatly helped me in my service career. I've been living outside Nagpur for the last 45 years now, and meeting number of people in various positions who belong to Nagpur but have now moved out, and have been interacting with them very often. One thing which I can say with great conviction is that you can take a person out of Nagpur but not Nagpur out of a person. Now that has been my observation. When you meet, and I have been meeting them all over, since you got to travel different parts of the country, but when you get talking, you easily or very easily establish that connect, and these characteristics that I just described very easily come to the fore. From the day I joined NDA, when I was 17 years, and as we walked up into this hall, I was mentioning to my colleagues, my military life at every step has been a lesson in leadership and responsibility. I was fortunate to get an opportunity to serve this great country of ours at every stage, in different areas, different sectors, and in different appointments or assignments. It is commonly believed that bigger the position, greater the responsibility. But in the army, it is quite different. Whether it is a section commander who leads a group of, let us say, 10 soldiers, or it is the army chief, I think each one of their roles is as important, as challenging, and as demanding. And the success of the Indian Army and what it achieves is only due to the collective efforts, commitment, dedication, and ability of all soldiers to work together as a cohesive team or a cohesive force. Just as soldiering, the legal profession has been one of the noble professions. I think both work for the good and safeguarding of the societies and the nation in one way or the other. From the time of our independence and the freedom movements, through making of our constitution and subsequent contemporary Indian politics, I think the lawyers have played a very significant role and contributed immensely. The contributions of stalwarts such as Motilal Nehru, Subhash Chandra Bose, Chittaranjan Das, Gopinath Bordolai, Bal Gangadhar Tilak, Lala Lajpat Rai, Madan Mohan Malviya, C. Rajgopalachari, Dr. Rajendra Prasad and Dr. B.R. Ambedkar is very well known. I believe lawyers have always played a crucial and a multifaceted role in the society, because you all represent individuals and entities, ensuring that rights are protected. You also influence public and shape opinion at large. And in a way, you show the way to the society through implementation of policies and ensuring social justice. Your contributions at the micro level have effect or have potential to achieve outcomes at the macro level. Court judgments based on interpretation of law are not only restricted to obtaining an injunction, stay or bail for clients, though these are important in themselves as they do justice to the immediate cause at hand. But I believe there is a wider process of nation building in which the lawyers have a very vital and an important role to play. In my talk over the next 25 minutes, I shall cover 3 issues. Firstly, I shall talk about the Army as an institution. What is it that it stands for? Then I'll go on to talk about certain leadership imperatives and the lessons from a soldier's perspective. And I think these will be relevant for young lawyers, budding lawyers sitting here in this hall, who are the future of the country. And towards the end, I shall try and draw some parallels between the profession of soldiering and the legal profession, and try to explain to you as to how the latter can benefit from the former. And let me start by saying that at the pace at which the country is progressing today, it is imperative that the defense forces, and specifically the Army, maintain a robust and safe internal as well as external environment so that there is no hindrance to the country's growth, progress and development. A nation's progress and its security are inextricably linked. While the economic power is the fountainhead of growth, it is the military strength which lends it the capability to effect outcomes necessary to protect and further our national interest. In this regard, I must say that the Indian Army is fully committed to ensuring that the nation's security is not impacted in any way so that its progress continues unabated. So what is it that defines the Indian Army as an institution? I think it stands as a microcosm of values that common citizen looks up to. The Army's core values stand on the edifice of Naam, Namak and Nishan. Naam embodies the collective identity, reputation and honor of the unit or regiment to which a soldier belongs. Namak, the loyalty and indebtedness to the organization. And Nishan is the respect for the ensign, the color, all the flag that inspires pride and motivation. The essence of this is what sets the profession of soldiering apart from other professions. Putting service before self and an ingrained commitment to preserve the honor and pride of the tricolor, I believe is what drives an Indian Army soldier to endure the rigors of life and even make the supreme sacrifice in service of the nation when required. Adherence to the motto of, and I quote, "the safety, honor, and welfare of your country comes first, always and every time," is at the heart of a soldier's commitment. Secular fabric and respect for all religions and beliefs is an integral part of Army's identity. Army is an organization where soldiers from different backgrounds, regions, culture, religions, ethnicities come together, live and work as a cohesive force where equal opportunities are provided to all. And this is what I think truly exemplifies unity in diversity. Some of you would be knowing that in most of the army units, we have what is called as a Sarv Dharm Sthal, where you have all the religious institutions, be it a mandir, a gurdwara, or a masjid, or a church, all being housed in a single building or a same premise. So what is it and why is it that people have faith in the army? I think this is because the people look at the army or soldiers as being selflessly committed in countering the threats to the nation, be it on the borders or combating proxy war situation, internal security situation in different parts of the country. They also have the confidence that their army is combat hardened, trained and equipped to take on any security threat or challenge that may come its way. In the army, they also see an institution which is invariably the first responder in times of crisis such as natural calamities, man-made disasters. They are also stakeholders in development of border areas, empowering local communities and fostering national integration. I think this is the character of the olive greens, is why the army enjoys a distinct stature in the nation's mind space. Let me now put forth some key waypoints and lessons on leadership from the perspective of a soldier. For a larger perspective of leadership, it is essential to understand that leadership is a universal concept. It may mean different things to different people. Leaders emerge in all walks of life, be it the military, business, sports, politics, education, or even in the profession of law. However, the practice of leadership is unique because the demands of duties of leadership vary according to the setting in which it is practiced. However, fundamental principles that underpin effective leadership are strikingly similar in all cases, across all domains, and stand relevant to leaders in all walks of life. A question that is often asked is, so what is the difference between a leader and a manager? Let me explain. Managers are largely responsible for organizing, controlling resources, and ensuring that tasks are completed efficiently in compliance with established procedures. Leaders, on the other hand, are people-oriented. They define a vision and lead by example towards achieving set objectives while concurrently developing and empowering their teams. They are the catalyst for innovation and transformation. While leadership and management are distinct roles, they are not mutually exclusive. The most effective individuals in any organization often combine elements of both. General Colin Powell, who was the former Chairman and Joint Chiefs of Staff of the US Army and their Secretary of State, had this to say on leadership, and I quote, "Leadership is the act of accomplishing more than the science of management says is possible," unquote. Leadership has been defined in a number of other ways. The former US General Dwight Eisenhower, who also later on became the US president, defined it as, and I quote, the art of getting someone else to do something you want done because he wants to do it, unquote. Another definition of leadership that has been put forth is that it is the art of influencing, enabling, and directing others to accomplish the mission professionally. Another leadership definition is it's a mixture of example, persuasion, and compulsion which enables men and women to do what you want them to do. It is a projection of personality, and it is the most personal thing in the world because it is just plain you, unquote. In the profession of soldiering, it is not just a matter of planning and giving orders and expecting them to be obeyed. It is a complex interplay of 4 pivotal attributes that define a military leader. And I must say, these attributes of which I will now be talking are not only relevant to leaders, but I think are relevant to, in fact, each one of us here as good citizens, as good human beings. And these 4 attributes are character, conduct, competence, and commitment. These in turn encompass many traits, qualities, and competencies which are equally applicable, like I mentioned, to young budding lawyers as well as students who are sitting here. So let me start by talking about character. Character entails many virtues that a good human being must possess. The important ones that character entails are integrity, honesty, loyalty, selflessness, moral courage, and fortitude. These serve as a guide to choose the harder right over the easier wrong. Upholding a strong set of values must be reflected in your actions and decisions. There will be occasions when you would be faced to choose between doing the right thing or the winning thing. It is in these defining moments that your moral courage shall be put to test. So, embrace character as one of your core attributes. Competence is the next attribute. You must possess the knowledge, skills, and abilities to excel in one's role and inspire others. It is also about continuously learning, adapting, evolving, and acknowledging that there is always more to learn and discover. So to my young friends here, make a commitment to lifelong learning and the quest for excellence as an enduring one. Conduct comes next. It embodies the very essence of one's actions in conformity with accepted norms in society, a commitment of adherence to a set of values, principles, rules, and ethos, and an unwavering dedication to one's work and duty. Your conduct in all aspects, including in personal life, must always be above reproach. Subsumed under the attribute of conduct are the qualities of self-discipline, teamwork, and empathy. Self-discipline instills a sense of responsibility, cultivates good habits, and drives consistent progress. Embrace self-discipline not as a restriction, but as a guiding principle that will always propel you towards success. In every facet of life, including our daily chores that we do, the significance of teamwork cannot be overstated. You must nurture the ability to blend into a team, align to team goals, and contribute your best. Empathy is about understanding and inspiring people. It is the ability to put yourself in someone else's shoes, to see the world from their perspective, and to connect with their emotions and experiences. Treat others with compassion and care. You also need to be a good listener. Challenges will always put your commitment to test. Adversity in the form of setbacks and failures, remember, are part of the game. They need to be seen not as unsurmountable barriers, but as stepping stones to success. Each failure or each fall provides an opportunity to learn, adapt, and grow. Never give up and always be driven by a never say die attitude, and you shall overcome life's toughest moments. These are also the basic building blocks to shape you as good citizens of our wonderful country and shall prepare you for the future. The men and women in the olive greens share a strong bond among themselves. Now, this bond is forged in the crucible of shared challenges, sacrifices, and victories. Inclusive to this bond are the elements of camaraderie and esprit de corps. Camaraderie binds each soldier with a collective sense of belonging to the team, and esprit de corps embodies the collective pride, moral, and solidarity of the team. This relationship extends beyond individual in the army and encompasses one's family, and it lasts a lifetime. Similarly, I would urge you here to develop lasting relationships and friendships, which I believe are the cornerstones of a rich and fulfilling life. They will offer you support, companionship, and a sense of belonging. And to my young friends here, work-life balance is another aspect which I feel is very important. And it is to do with life beyond the workspace. Do devote time to pursue a hobby, sport, read and meditate. In effect, do invest in some me time. This is essential for sound physical and emotional health, as well as developing a well-rounded personality. Also, do have a role model from whom you can draw inspiration and who can be a guide and mentor. As young citizens, and even as you grow into young men and women, remember, tolerance is the cornerstone of a harmonious society. Learn to acknowledge and accept different perceptions and points of views. Respect for all religions is fundamental to the idea of India, and that is the principle I believe you must live by. The progression of technology and transformative innovations across multiple domains is significantly impacting lives. While these augment our capabilities, emotional intelligence and human values will continue to keep the human aspect of what we do indispensable. The nation is making great strides in all spheres. Each one of you sitting here will play an important role in driving India's growth story. Every youth, I believe, has the potential to change people's lives. And no nation can progress without the perseverance, faith, and hard work, as well as sacrifices of the youth. You are the torchbearers of the nation. A world of opportunities await motivated, bright young boys and girls like you who shoot for the stars and are ready to seize new opportunities. Your goals, passions, ideas, determination, and sacrifices are the elements that shall contribute to the aspirations of a rising India. So march ahead with confidence, pursue your dreams, and go on to contribute in your own special way for the country. You must also contribute back to the society and the nation at large where possible. Support and help those in need with contribution of your time, resources, and influence. Love for the country must always remain your beacon, with an unwavering commitment, sense of devotion, and an undying passion for the land that has nurtured us. Always honor the country's legacy and uphold the values that make us proud Indians. And some of you, if you wish to serve the nation, By joining the Indian Army in the Judge Advocate General's branch, I would say it is a great career option. You will get to serve far and wide in this wonderful country of ours and abroad too. You will get to see combat, experience challenges, experience adventure, and save lives. The Army way of life, I must say, is an enjoyable one and a fulfilling journey, driven by values, embracing challenges, and emerging victorious through perseverance. Mere reasoning ability, in my opinion, will not meet the demands of the legal profession, and as budding lawyers, you must not simply focus on the utilitarian facet, but also on character and moral development. You must instill a sense of purpose, curiosity, and commitment to excellence, thereby enriching the fabric of the legal profession and advancing the cause of justice in the society. Let me now, in my last part of my talk, draw certain commonalities between the profession of soldiering and practitioners of law, and identify certain attributes and qualities in a military leader which may have relevance for you boys and ladies and gentlemen sitting here. We have what we call as the 10 principles of war, which every young officer in the army is expected to learn and thereafter seek to refine their understanding throughout his or her military career. These, if applied effectively, can help you in your profession as well, when navigating complex cases, managing teams, and achieving success, upholding ethical and professional standards. Let me explain very briefly each one of these. First is the selection and maintenance of aim. It is to do with setting a clear objective, and in case of lawyers, it could be securing a favorable verdict, reaching a settlement, or protecting clients' rights. Maintenance of morale entails creating a positive environment, work environment within the team. Morale can be raised through effective communication, shared goals, a sense of purpose in delivering justice, and through a process of rewards. Offensive action would mean to proactively pursue a case through aggressive but ethical advocacy. Security is the fourth. Among other things, will involve safeguarding sensitive client information and ensuring compliance with legal standards. Concentration of force is the fifth principle and is to do with focusing one's time, energy, and expertise on the main effort or the key issue at hand to achieve desired outcomes. On the other hand, economy of effort, which is one of the principles, involves utilizing and economizing on available resources, that is time, finances, and manpower. Flexibility is about adaptability and adjusting to changing circumstances, such as new evidence, and to be prepared to align one's strategy while remaining focused on the final objective. Cooperation with colleagues, clients, and other stakeholders will enhance effectiveness of legal representation. Similarly, strong teamwork can address complex legal challenges. Sustainability involves building long-term client relationship, constantly seeking professional development, and balancing workload to avoid burnout while ensuring continuous high-quality service. Let me highlight a few more issues which guide soldiers may again be of relevant to you. Like I said, discipline is the backbone of military effectiveness, ensuring consistency and reliability. In your case, maybe a disciplined approach to legal research, documentation, case preparation, precision in arguments, contracts, and filings will reflect professionalism and also reduce errors. A mission-oriented approach which prioritizes accomplishment of mission above personal or immediate gains is key to achieving success on the battlefield. Similarly, I believe lawyers can approach their work with a result-oriented attitude, keeping client goals or pursuit of justice as their primary objective. Next is decision making, leadership, and accountability. Lawyers must hone their decision making skills. Your team members will look to you for mentorship and guidance. Your decisions will often carry significant consequences, so the ability to analyze information swiftly, assess risk, and make sound judgments is crucial. Decisiveness will instill confidence in your team members and maintain momentum on your clients' files. In the military, leaders take responsibility for their decisions and actions and lead by example. Lawyers in leadership positions must take ownership of outcomes, guide their teams effectively, and uphold professional standards. Delegating tasks effectively allows you to leverage strengths of each team member, promote their professional development, and maximize their productivity. Ethical conduct, guided by a strict moral compass, is fundamental to soldiering. Similarly, a lawyer's adherence to ethical principles, especially in ambiguous situations, is important. Integrity will ensure fairness and strengthen public trust in the legal profession. You will often work in challenging and stressful environment and deal with emotionally charged situations and time pressures. Empathy and emotional intelligence are invaluable skills. This will enable you to navigate sensitive negotiations, tackle tough conversations, manage stress, and create a positive work environment. Good military leaders have the ability to perform and deliver in challenging, difficult, high-stress, and unpredictable conditions. It is often said in the military that when the going gets tough, the tough get going. Similarly, courtroom and complex cases will demand resilience, where lawyers need to maintain composure and focus. The ability to think on your feet and quick wit would always help. Planning for every possible scenario and contingency on the battlefield and the ability to adapt to changing conditions is the hallmark of a good military leader. Likewise, lawyers must develop a strategic mindset by envisioning long-term objectives and devising plans to achieve them. Thoroughly preparing legal arguments, anticipating opposite views and strategies, and staying adaptable during trials or negotiation is important. While the military functions under a well-defined structure and discipline, lawyers must balance this with the flexibility, empathy, and creativity that legal practice often demands. Excessive rigidity could hinder innovative problem solving, which is vital, in my opinion, in law. In conclusion, I believe that molding military ethos into your professional careers, into your professional framework, can significantly enhance your discipline, ethical standards, strategic mindset, and outcomes. By integrating these principles, you will be able to operate with greater professionalism, reliability, and respect, elevating your service to clients and the society. At the end, I once again wish to thank the HCBA for giving me this opportunity and wish you all the very best in your professional and personal lives. Thank you and Jai Hind. I think time permitting, if some of them have any questions, I'll be willing to answer. Okay, whichever way. So, thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring and motivational words. John Maxwell said, "A leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way." Sir, you are a true leader in every sense. I'm sure the valuable lessons shared by you today from the lives of Indian Army will go a long way in aiding all of us to imbibe leadership qualities in our professional as well as personal lives. We are all very proud of you, sir. Honorable Shri Justice Anil L. Pansare, Judge, Nagpur Bench of Bombay High Court, has been a steadfast pillar of support to the High Court Bar Association, always offering his valuable guidance to the association in its endeavours. I request Honorable Shri Justice A. L. Pansare to address the gathering.
Good evening. General Manoj Pande is better off Mrs. Pande. Advocate Atul Pande, the President of Nagpur High Court Bar Association. Advocate Amol Jaltare, Secretary. Senior Advocate Firdos Ji Mirza, my esteemed colleagues, Army officers, and august gathering. Alert, regular mobility, young. Though this is not official long form of army, this sentence usually is said to describe in one line what Indian Army is. Alert has to be 24/7 alert. And it's a challenging task. And definitely not a job of an individual to be alert 24/7. Requires a team and also leadership. This is what is being done by Indian Army, 24/7 alertness on the borders, in extreme tough conditions, which we only read in newspaper or otherwise some visuals. But then these people face every day. So they are alert on the borders, and therefore we are relaxed here. And for this, I hope one should now, right now, have a great round of applause to these people. And then to lead such a team consisting of, I hope, 12 to 13 lakhs active members and say about 10 lakhs reserve force. And we should be proud that one of the leaders of Indian Army was from Nagpur, General Manoj Pande. What appealed to me the most when he said that in army we have all religions together. So there is only one religion. and it is, I hope, selfless service. Doesn't make any difference whether he is Hindu or Muslim or Sikh or Isai, whatever the regiment he may be, Maratha and not many things. But then they have a common goal to protect us, our country. So all religions together, though I remembered the saying, united we stand, divided we fall. So this is the strength when we unite together. So far as the battle is concerned, Army's battle by and large seems to be a physical battle, though it requires planning, but seems to be. As against where we are concerned, it's a mental battle. But then there is a battle. The uniform is something that is being respected. You must have, there was a video, viral video, a small child at the airport touching the feet of a soldier. Have you seen that? Isn't it? Look at the respect which this uniform commands. The child, maybe 3-4 years, what did she know about the army or navy or whatever it may be? But then the uniform, something that comes from within, the respect to the uniform. This I have seen when at times when I travel through our escort guides us, the siren, when it goes from the villages, the moment that siren is heard, particularly children, they come out of house and they would salute the khaki vardi. So again the uniform carries the respect. The younger generation has a respect to the uniform. We also have uniform and carries a sense, white and black. White indicates calmness, fairness. Black, the authority, the command. One submits himself to the justice. So this is submission to justice is something that is what we are for. The effort should be to uphold the law, and that can be done by being fair to this system. So the message to the young generation is to ensure that this system is never polluted. Fairness is the charm of the system. Please keep it in your mind. Come what may, never compromise this. So that is the only message which I intend to give it to you. I am thankful to the members for inviting me for this gathering, and my best wishes to you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Your Lordship, for your wise and encouraging words. I now open the House for an interactive session with General Manoj Pande.
So when my friend Atul asked me to speak for 1 hour, I said 1 hour is too much. I said, let me speak for 25-30 minutes and maybe the rest of the time for a Q&A, interactive session, whatever. So I'll be most happy to answer if you have any questions, want to know more, whatever.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah.
We are really grateful, first of all, to have you and gracing this occasion, sir. Sir, I believe from your speech that one thing common between this profession, which we called as a noble profession, and the Indian Army is the discipline. So, sir, can you please guide us and tell us that what all things, the morals and the ethics from the Indian Army, we as a young lawyer should inculcate to do well in this profession, sir?
Yeah, so I spoke of a couple of things. I think the first one was character. That, to my way of thinking, is very, very important. And I mentioned a couple of things. I said there is doing the right thing and doing the winning thing. So these kind of situations invariably you will confront in life. So that dilemma as to what is it? Do I do something which is right or which will make me win is one question. So character is something which I feel for all of us, I think irrespective of profession, we need to focus on character, which is integrity, moral courage, right, fortitude, courage to speak the truth and follow what you think is correct. Doing the right thing rather than doing the easy thing. So that is one aspect of character, which in my way of thinking is very important. In the military, it is because it's a question of life and death. So that is something which is, like they say, if you are a leader and if you have the soldiers who you're leading, so it cannot be that you demand respect. In the military, the system is such that in war or in difficult situations, the decision which the leader will take, your soldiers will be willing to give their lives just based on the decision that you have made. Now that kind of a bonding comes only out of a prolonged period of training. You develop mutual trust, mutual confidence in each other. When you know that my leader is, whatever decision he takes will be for the good. So that is one. As far as discipline is concerned, I feel one most important part is the self-discipline, right? To which I also briefly alluded to in my talk. So, you must imbibe or develop certain habits. So one is somebody telling you to do this. Okay, you get up in the morning, do A, B, C. Second is by self, you discipline yourself in that manner. And that comes over a period of time. In your daily routine, in your official work, being punctual, being rightly attired, rightly dressed, your physical activity, whatever. So I think the self-discipline part is the most important. In the army, the discipline comes by, the organization ensures that you are disciplined. But to my way of thinking, self-discipline, it cuts across all profession, all domains, all fields. So if you develop your self-discipline, I think that is what again will help you all in your future lives, professional as well as personal lives. Yeah.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah.
My warm greetings to the Honorable Dice as well. I'm Sampanna Pande from Law College and I'm a budding law student. Sir, after seeing the alarming increase in the use of artificial intelligence in every aspect, so sir, how do you see it from the perspective of defense? Is it a friend or a foe?
A very, very relevant, very important question. Not only artificial intelligence, I'll take this hypothesis argument a little wider. Social media technology, right? So the social media, while it gives you, a number of benefits, it empowers you, it facilitates, enables you to do a number of things. There are challenges associated with it. So that is, as far as the army is concerned, it has been our leadership's, thing to our rank and file, that while you look at or to educate them, to put them wise as to what are the pitfalls. So technology, while it will enable you to do things better, do things more efficiently, but you have to be very aware of what are the pitfalls. And just like the AI, that one aspect is you regulate something, right? The government comes up with policies to regulate social media, what you put out on what you don't. But equally important, if not more, is the aspect of creating awareness in the society, in your organization, as to what is it that you need to be careful about, the social media as well as AI. So this is something, is a challenge, which we'll have to sort of live with and find out answer as to how do you deal with it. But yes, both AI, other things, social media, I feel is dealing with them is increasingly or will become more important in the future. Yes.
Good evening, sir. My name is Rehan Pande. I'm a first year law student at MNLU Nagpur. My question is that how can student adopt the Indian Army's principle of discipline and decision making in our daily life?
Yeah, so I said self-discipline is one thing. One way of, you look at as to how others have, so you find discipline will help a sportsman, self-discipline will also help, let's say, so you look at some of your, senior successful lawyers, your guides, your mentors. Nothing in life can you achieve without discipline, right? You have to have your mental frame of mind correct for your physical well-being, your moral well-being, your emotional well-being. I think discipline, and I can make out, I think at least there are 3 questions which are again pointing towards how do you inculcate discipline, self sort of restraint, right? So one way is over a period of time, it will not come overnight. Unfortunately, you can't buy discipline, just like you can't buy character. It has to be developed over a period of time. You will have to constantly work at it. Look at some of your guides, mentors, seniors, contemporaries. It is through their lives to watch, by observing them, by watching them. You will, but practice, you will have to do it yourself. Unfortunately, nobody else can, and somebody else can discipline you only to an extent. The rest of it has to come within. So it is how you motivate yourself, I think, is the key. Yes.
Good evening, sir. Good evening to the esteemed panel. So actually, there has been a notion in the society that military personals oftenly criticize civilians for not being serious in their lives and not having rigid values that the military personals possess. So, sir, in the world of distractions also, advocates also are facing the same, and we students are also not having those values because of many reasons. For example, the distractions and etc. So, what do you think? How these values can be inculcated and imbibed in the Indian legal system effectively?
No, so I think first question you asked is, just repeat that first part.
Actually, I said there has been a notion in the society that military personnels criticize civilians for not being serious in their lives.
Okay. Yeah, so that's fine.
Yeah.
So, like I keep saying, it is not as if for a military man to think that it is only the military or the army is doing good for the society, good for the nation. I always believe, and I have been saying this openly, telling my people in soldiers while I was in the army that look, it is all of us. So it's not only a soldier, there's a doctor, there's an engineer, there's a lawyer, there is somebody else, somebody who's doing business. I think all are working towards the good of the country. So it is not as if it is only you or your profession that you are doing good. You need to collaborate, work alongside each other, and that is how your outcomes will improve. In most of our challenges, in most of our situations, if it is a whole of the nation approach, if all work together, that is what I think will help the country to progress further. So that is one aspect of as to how you can't be thinking that it is only the military or maybe in the or any single profession which is actually doing the most for the good of the country. So does that answer your question or no?
So that sense of nationalization should be in everybody's
No, there is
mind.
no, I mean it has to be by talking, by discussing. You have to genuinely believe that it is not only. Secondly, so you also mentioned that military look down upon. If not look down upon, you look at. So I've been telling so I said don't, somebody who is outside the military, don't even address them, call them as civilians. I think that's not a correct term. You call them non-military. The moment you say civilians, it comes, at least mentally, in the military mind, that maybe they're not sort of whatever. So I think military, non-military is a good way of doing things or speaking of things, which I have been telling my people, and I think.
Thank you so
But
much.
it is not, it is never in the military's mind that we look down upon or we look at, somebody outside the uniform as less disciplined. No. That may be a perception, also because of what Justice Pansare was saying in terms of uniform, that pride, just like in your profession, right? There is a reason why we put on uniform in the military. I always used to tell my soldiers that your identity, the society respects you not because of your being XYZ. It is because of the uniform that you are putting. You are nobody, just by your being self. But because you are putting uniform, it also brings in a lot of responsibility to you. You can't do something which is, which will bring down the name of the army or the institution, organization you belong to. In our case, we are more conscious that it should not bring down the name of my unit or my regiment. Just like soldiers, in a situation where you are willing to give your life, normally the notion is, we say that, look, you are willing to give the life for your country. I feel it is more, you want to give life for your compatriot, for your team, for your unit. And that is why I said those three things. Nishan, it is only to protect the flag, the ensign, right, or the name of your organization that you want to do. So that sense of identity, that sense of camaraderie, that sense of esprit de corps, being part of the team, teamwork is something which is very, very critical, especially in a profession such as ours. And likewise, I feel, and that is why, so when he asked me to address the lawyers, I was struggling as to what is it that I must focus on. So I tried to draw some parallel between what the principles of war are, how you can apply here, what are the commonalities. And the more I thought over it, I realized that there are a lot of things which are common. And after all, profession is one. We all also need to be good citizens, good human beings. That is what I think, and that's what I try to describe in whatever I spoke. Yeah.
Hello. Good evening, sir.
Yeah.
So I have one question. So as we have a fundamental right and equality, so why the Indian Army is not giving opportunities to girls to directly join into a combat like organizations, combat infantry and all?
Right. So that's a
so
very
what's
good,
your opinion on this?
Well,
sir? Thank you.
It's a very good question. It's a topical question, something which we've been discussing it. And you would have seen in the press, some issues of. So we made a beginning. Incidentally, women in the military, in the officers' rank, have been there since 1992, except for in combat currently, right? But there are combat support arms, artillery, those who fire guns. There are certain other support arms. So we already have women officers there. We have women soldiers in certain, in the core of military as of now. We have to be very careful. In the Western armies, in the Western society, their conditions are different. We have to also look at the physical environment, the physical conditions, our commitments on a day-to-day basis are different than what other armies are facing. So there is a process which we are following, and I think in a progressive manner, because you don't want to do something which, I wouldn't say which is drastic, but doing something which is also accepted, which is easy to assimilate, and that is the sort of route or way we are following. But I am very clear that there are no sort of blockages in our mind that, okay, women can't do A or women can't do B. So eventually, after, maybe I can't put a time to it, you will have women in the combat, arms of the army as well. So there is no mental thing to it. Yeah. Yeah, speak louder, please. I can't hear you.
Warm greetings, sir. Myself, Saloni Shah. I have noticed you mentioned you have certain. Can I repeat? I have noticed you mentioned you have sometimes situations like you have to choose win and you have to choose right. But in our profession, we many a time conquer this situation. We have to choose right. We have to choose right and win situation. So if we are dealing with a win situation, like we are representing our clients. And we know sometimes clients are not doing not.
No, I understand your question. So it's a difficult one, the dilemma, doing the right thing and doing the winning thing.
Winning thing, yeah.
So yes, it's a difficult, but that is where your character. So maybe as a lawyer, you decide, okay, these are the things, I will follow this. I will not maybe argue on certain cases which do not fall into my frame of things. It's a difficult one. You have to resist the temptation, choosing the easier right versus the harder wrong, or easier wrong versus the harder right. It will only come through training, but yes, not only in your profession, I think in all profession, in our profession also these dilemmas come in. Maybe once you look at certain cases, you do reading, you find as to how some senior lawyers, good lawyers have done their thing. Maybe you'll pick up some good ideas and try and follow them. But yes, that is critical as to what is it that you decide to do as an individual. Thank you. I think we'll stop here. We need to be disciplined.
Thank you, sir, for answering questions of all attendees so patiently. I now request Advocate Atul Pande, President of the Bar, to present a shawl and souvenir to General Manoj Pande. Thank you, sir. I now request Senior Advocate Mr. Firdos Mirza, Convener of the Study Circle, to present a shawl and souvenir to Honorable Shri Justice Anil L. Pansare. Thank you, sir. I request Advocate Amol Jaltare, the Secretary of the Bar, to propose the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Palak. I think he is the one who protects us even without food or fur. Oh, angel, thy name is soldier. Thank you, sir. Very good evening and warm welcome to all present over here. I think indeed today is a memorable day, as we have amongst us the former Chief of the Army Staff, Major General Pande sir with us. I think very seldom it would happen that we have such dignitaries addressing the members of the bar upon such aspects like discipline, solidarity, integrity, hard work, dedication. I think these are the footnotes for a soldier and for budding lover as well, if I am not wrong, sir. Sir, thank you, sir. On behalf of High Court Bar Association, I take this opportunity to extend a sincere and deep sense of gratitude to General Manoj Pande sir for accepting our invitation and to deliver a lecture in the study circle activity and enlightening the members on the topic leadership imperatives and lessons from Indian Army. I am sure that my fellow colleagues will surely try to inculcate the values of discipline, dedication and hard work in their professional journey as well. So thank you for sparing your valuable time and for guiding the members of HCBA. Your lecture has indeed left an impeccable impact and the same will be helpful to all of us in the future as well, sir. Sir, I truly feel that we, the citizens of India, shall always remain indebted and grateful to the members of Indian Armed Forces. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much again. I am also grateful to the chief guest for today's function, Honorable Chief Justice Anil Pansare, sir, for sparing your valuable time and for guiding the members of the association. I am thankful to Mrs. Archana Pande, ma'am, Colonel Vinod Bajpayee, sir, Lieutenant Colonel Mr. Abhishek Mishra, sir, for your valuable guidance and your gracious presence for today's function. I am thankful to Mr. Ravindra Sadrani, Registrar Administration, and the members of Registry for their active support and guidance. I am also thankful to the respected senior colleagues, my dear brothers and sisters, for your gracious presence. I cannot forget to say thanks to one member, my elder brother, Advocate Avadhut Purohit sir, who was since beginning quite interested and without whose efforts I think this program could not have been completed, sir. Thank you, Avadhut sir. Thank you so much for your constant effort and support, sir. Thank you so much. Lastly, I am thankful to the members of all the print and electronic media for the gracious presence for today's function. With the hope that I will see you all the youngsters in the next episode of Study Circle as well. Thank you so much. Officially, the program is over now. Thank you, sir.
I request everyone to stand up for the national anthem. अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल गंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उज्जल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे I request all the dignitaries and members of the bar to join for high tea at the cafeteria.